Hey guys, it's Crazy Comic Lady here, and in my last video, the Chibi Bulbasaur video, I mentioned that my doggy wasn't doing too well, and it was actually the day after I uploaded that video that he took a really bad turn for the worst, and he collapsed outside. He only made it to the patio in the morning, and he just completely collapsed, and his back legs wouldn't work at all. He couldn't move, he couldn't get up, and he was trying to, he was struggling, and he couldn't move his back legs at all. He was just stuck, and he was very distressed, and it was really upsetting. And it was a Saturday, so our regular vets wasn't open, so we had to call this emergency vet people, and they came round, but we had to wait a couple of hours, and so he was stuck outside, being unable to move on the patio for 4 or 5 hours or something. And eventually the vets turned up, and they had to put him down, and it was really sad. I was stroking him when he went, and it was just really sad. I mean, he was the best dog you could ever hope to have. He was so loving, and he wanted to be friends with everybody. He loved everyone, and he was always happy to see people and would wag his tail and kill you with kisses. He had a pretty bad start in life. He was a rescue when we got him. He was living with this single mother and her baby in a tiny little flat, and he was a big dog. He was a Rottweiler Collie cross, so he was really, really big and a muscular dog with the energy of a collie. So he was really hyperactive and super strong. And anyway, the family that had him originally, they bought an Alsatian puppy, and then they just dumped him. They just dumped him off at the kennels, and apparently when the kennels got him, he had no fur on his back end at all. He was bald, and they hadn't taken good care of him. And ever since, he always had a problem with Alsatians. He could never get on with an Alsatian at all. It was instant fight. And so we don't know exactly what happened, but clearly something didn't go right when they got that Alsatian puppy. And it was the kennels that named him Rollie, because of being a Rottweiler Collie. They took the name and kind of compressed the breed names. But his original name was Max, and he was really not a Max. And the original owners, they gave him this horrible stud collar. They were trying to make him like a really hard, scary dog, and that was never him. He was this just lovable, cute, huggy dog. Some people were really scared of him, though, because he was so big and black and boisterous. Some people were really terrified of him. People who weren't dog people were really scared of him. But most people loved him, and he always remembered everyone he met, especially if they gave him biscuits. He'd if he saw them or smelt them from across the road, he'd pull you over the road to go and see the person he knew that had biscuits. So he was 16 months old when we got him, and we got him from this really bad rescue place. It was a kennels that's not very far from us, but they're really bad because when we'd left our cats there previously, when we'd been on holiday and stuff, the cats got ill, and I don't think they'd ever walked Rollie. He'd been in kennels for 2 months before we came and found him, and he was so excited when they brought him out to see us. At first they showed us this whippet thing that was just so timid and didn't want to know us. And then they brought out Rollie. They didn't think we'd want Rollie because he was such a handful. So they brought him out kind of as a last resort. They didn't really want to it's they didn't want to try and rehome him. But anyway, they brought him out because we insisted. And he was he was pulling the arm off the person who got the lead and bounded over to us and knocked us over. And it was this is our dog. We have to have a character dog like this. This is just the perfect dog for us. And so we took him home, and we didn't tell my dad that we were bringing him home, because my dad was always a cat person. He didn't really like dogs that much, so we didn't tell him. And my dad got home and he was oh, what's this dog doing here? And like Rollie kind of, as soon as he saw him, kind of went mental and wanted strokes and stuff. And my dad, and yeah, he was our dog from then. But yeah, he was a real handful in the beginning, like probably like the first 6 years, because he never lost that hyperactiveness and the strength and the energy. Like it never really went. Apart from, I don't know, the last couple of weeks really was when he kind of really started slowing down because he was struggling to get up. But he was still happy to see us in those last weeks. He'd always wag his tail, and he'd do this thing where he'd bury his head like in your lap, and he wanted to be like stroked behind the ears, and he really liked being stroked behind his ears, and they were really fluffy ears as well. And yeah, it's really sad now because like ever since my health went downhill like 5 years ago, I don't like go out very much. Like I don't leave the house a lot because it's quite difficult for me to get around now. And he always used to wait at the bottom of the stairs for me until I got up. Like he'd just wait at the bottom of the stairs, like looking up at the stairs until like I appeared. And I don't know, he always kind of positioned himself around the house so that he could keep an eye on everyone. Like this is my pack, I have to guard my pack. And he liked to know where everyone was, and he was a very sweet dog. The house feels like so empty without him because he really made it kind of a home. He was like the happiest one in our family, and I have this thing now where it's like I haven't really felt that he's gone yet. It's like I look around like the spots where he used to sit and he's not there. And it's like the downstairs of the house is just, I hate being in the downstairs of the house now because he's not there. Or I'll think I'll see something move out of the corner of my eye and I'll think it's Rollie, and then it sinks in that he's not there. And it was so sad because when we did put him down, like he's too big. He was way too big to bury. Like when he stood up on his back legs, he could put like his paws on your shoulders. He was a very huge dog, so we couldn't really like bury him or anything. And the vet people couldn't take him in their van, so we had to put him in the boot of the car and take him to the vets. And that was so sad because we'd managed to get him onto his bed, and we lifted like him, like we had an end each, and lifted like his bed into the boot of the car with him on it, and then we had to like leave him at the vets, kind of on the floor in like this shed that was just off the vets. And it was so sad. It kind of felt like I don't want to leave my dog. And like even now I kind of feel like I'm a 7-year-old because I keep saying I just want my dog back. Like somehow he's magically going to appear back. And it's really stupid. I mean, I've lost a lot of pets before, and I've lost like lots of family members and stuff, and yet this is so much worse. This is worse than losing family members. It's like someone really punched me in the heart. And I think everyone in our house is feeling that. My mum even agreed with me. When I lost my nanny, my mum's mum, my mum agreed with me that this feels worse than losing my nan. I guess because he's just been there every single day for the last 11 years. So it's really sad. And I know it'll get better, but it's just like, I'd rather he was still here. But I mean, not suffering, but like back to how he was, his happy, cheerful, fun-loving self. So yeah, thanks for watching my video, and goodbye, Rollie.